Hello and welcome to another update video about Cardano ADA. Yeah, the ADA chart has stretched further towards my target area between 85 and 96 cents. Been communicating this area for the last few months. Let's see if we get there. I think we're already in the late stages of this uptrend potentially. Would be great if we can stretch to 85 to 96 cents, but just getting slightly concerned with the microstructure here because it looks technically full. But we talk about it. You know, in the current environment, it is not wise to assume a top is in place until we have confirmation, right? That from an analysis point of view. I mean, from a trading point of view, you know, if you entered in the yellow box or the orange box, you know, you have decent profits, by all means. I mean, trade your plan. And if you want to take some profits, take some partial profits because the entire rally looks close to being complete. However, I would still prefer to stretch a little higher. It definitely has further room to further, for further upside. Definitely has further room. And we talk about the relevant support levels that now need to hold in the short term. Looking at this structure here to the upside, here someone said to me in the comments, this looks more like an impulse now. Seriously, this is not an impulse. It can't be. Okay, it can't be because the wave one is a very, very clear three-wave move. I mean, it couldn't be clearer. So if the wave one is a three-wave move, there's no way of labeling this entire move as an impulse. That's where context comes into play. You need to consider the context, not just look at the microstructure and say, okay, this looks impulsive. Also, diagonals can include impulsive in their subwaves, but this here, I mean, it couldn't be a clearer three-wave move. Different ways of labeling it, but I like the idea of an A, B, C, in which the A wave is a three-wave move. The B wave is a triangle, and then we have a C wave up. And the Fibonacci extensions work perfectly for that. Also, you can label the third wave then as an ABC with a B wave triangle again. Yeah, and this C wave is, and the fifth wave is likely unfolding right now. And it should really be an ABC structure. It should really be. Now, again, I can always be wrong about that. You know, it is to a degree subjective, even though I wouldn't know how you want to count that here as an impulse. But it is to a degree subjective. So I've also offered here a 5-wave pattern to the upside wave count. Just changed slightly the microstructure. The previous one wasn't invalidated. Obviously, we're constantly watching the microstructure to determine the most probable pathway. And I think we're dealing here with two potentials. One, obviously, the idea is that a fourth wave bottomed on the 23rd of January, that we're now in the fifth wave. That's been my view for, I don't know, a few months really, since we started to track that structure really, that this is a 5-wave diagonal to the upside. And it could be something different, but we won't really know that until we really get a sustained break above 96 cents. So please be aware that it can be something more directly bullish. And therefore, I think from a trade management point of view, it is wise not to get too small with positions and just use entry points to add positions or support areas to at least look for entries and then just move the stop sort of, into profit regularly. Keep it below the relevant support levels to make sure that you stay in the trend trade as long as possible. We're now at a point where we're entering a key pivotal area, in which this increase from June last year is technically complete or could be complete. Just a little higher possible, preferred, absolutely, could still stretch a little higher. But we're basically close to completion. And only if we get above a certain threshold, I would have to adjust my count, which, again, wouldn't change the trend. The trend is up, right? And that's what I mean. We don't want to confirm a top in place too early. At the moment, the earliest indication that we can get that some kind of a top has formed is a break below that last swing low at 68.6 cents. Until then, we can stretch higher. And my preferred count is the white count as an A, B, C structure. We're now in a C wave, which is a 5-wave move. That's maybe what that, what the comment was about. It looks more like an impulse. Yeah, a C wave looks like an impulse. Okay, so absolutely. We're likely in the fifth wave of that C wave now, and the fifth wave could get another squiggle higher. Let's go to the 1-hour chart. That's sort of how I see this on the nanostructure. We could say, okay, we have a 1, a 2. Maybe this is a 3, might get another 4 and 5. Okay, so it might get one more stretch higher. to keep this perspective alive, it should hold above the 50% FIB level. So above 74 cents. So that break below that, based on the current structure, would be an early indication that a top has formed against 74 cents. The focus can be on higher, and then a break below 68.6 would confirm further that a top has formed. And then we can obviously head towards next, 81 cents is basically the next resistance. Then we've got 85 and 96. Also, please be aware of the upper boundary line of that trend channel as next target. Maybe just to give you an idea of, when I talk about, okay, it could be something even more bullish, not visible, not clear at this stage if it is, but possible. Some coins are doing that. It would be a different assumption then, but we could say that this here is an ABC or WXY in a larger A wave. It was a shallow B, and we're moving up directly in a C. Then ideally we also get a 1-2 setup just with a shallow 2 and do this, okay? So that would be more directly bullish, just something to be aware of, to incorporate into your trading plan, and therefore not to exit positions possibly too early, but regular profit taking is wise if there are decent profits, because the market can literally change from one day to another. But that is really where general risk management practice comes into play, right? That it's not really covered by the analysis. The analysis tells you when the risk is higher, and that's always the case when we're entering pivot areas. But as I said, without even a first indication a top is in, can't confirm it. The problem with that is in crypto, sometimes you get these confirmations and you have to act immediately. Sometimes it's too late, which is why it can make sense to sell into rallies, and buy the dips, which is what I like to do. That's my update about ADA. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.